Hey guys, Momola here. In today's video, we are going to go through how I create pin designs, but specifically how I mimic my competition by checking what's working and what's not working. And I'm going to give you two or three really cool tips to look at when you're looking at competitor pins, designs, and some engagement metrics to really figure out what it is that helps to grow an account and how you can pretty much just see what's working already and use it. So let's get into today's video. So, of course, I am in my Pinterest account here, my Tooltrip Pinterest account, which is slowly growing. I will go through some updates with the account shortly. But what I really want to share with you today is a smart and really efficient way to, instead of try to create your own pin graphics from scratch, which can take a long time, what I usually do is I will go into my competitors. So I will have a list of probably around 5 to 10 competitors of people that are pinning very, very similar amounts of pins to my particular campaign. So for this example, it's going to be tool trips, so it's going to be DIY, but really also home decor. That's the niche that we're in. And then based on their designs, based on what's doing quite well for them, and based on a few other metrics, we are going to mimic, add a few things of our own, but ethically copy with our own slants in it, but find out what's working and use it. Okay, so that's what we're going to go through today. Super important video. I'm not going to spend too long on specifically pin designs and how to create pins, because I think there's more than enough videos on YouTube on how to use Canva, but I will explain what you're looking for when you're creating your designs, and I'll quickly go into my Canva template so you can take a look at it. So for now, let's go through very quickly the actual Business Hub page itself. And we're going to go to view audience insights and also view trends, which is pretty cool. So let's go into those now. So we're slowly getting some audience metrics in. As I mentioned, this is a new site. It's a case study site, and we're looking to grow this account to over 100,000 outbound clicks per month. It will take probably around 5 to 6 months if we analyze our data and do it correctly. But we're going to follow the journey, and it's going to be a pretty cool one as well. So again, always go into your audience, check what's working with your audience, figure out what it is that's in their mindset. That's super important, because then you can create your pins, and you can see your competitive research based on what is your audience is trying to achieve. Okay, so for example, for us, Supers, this is really invaluable, and you don't get these demographics until you really do have a few hundred or so impressions, probably a few thousand or so impressions, and probably a few hundred or so outbound clicks and pin clicks, for example. So super important for us. As you can see, our demographic at the moment for our home decor niche is mainly female, which is pretty cool. And then also they're usually the younger side, so roughly between around 25 to 34 is our biggest target audience. So that's super important, because when you're making your pins, you want to make sure that you tailor those pins, those colors, those tones, even the language to that particular demographic. So females, majority, and usually a younger audience, so probably around 25 to 34. And then you can take into consideration other factors. I usually don't use device as a factor, because unless it's like 90% iPhone, and you can maybe try to get into the mindset of an iPhone user, but usually not device. But what I will take into consideration is country. Okay, so you'll have certain nuances and certain languages, also certain spellings that you want to be very careful with. Some parts of the world have a different type of spelling, and you want to take into consideration that. So if you click on all Pinterest users at the top here as well, you can actually get some more information around categories and interests, which is super important. And then again, just you want to get as much information as you can around your target audience. This isn't really highlighted enough, especially with people that are given Pinterest tutorials and advice. And it's super important that you truly understand these demographics and then tailor your pins towards that. Okay, so now if we take a look at a few keywords, so let's go to trends, which I think is the next tab. Here we are. Let's go to our interest, and also we can probably put a keyword in as well. So we're going to put in home decor. As I mentioned, I spend a ton of time in this trends tool. Super important. So these are the growing trends. You can also do yearly, monthly, and seasonal. We'll leave it at growing for now. So these are the last 90 or so days of data based on this particular our niche and our keywords. So let's open up a few of these. And what we're looking for is pretty much to kind of mimic some design. So we're looking at for competitors that we can use, and we're looking to kind of mimic those designs. So again, we're not really looking for trends right now. Let's go into the actual. If you scroll down, you you actually click on popular pins here. This is super important, okay? And it's something that, again, you need to spend more time doing. So once you found the keyword, let's find one with like a nice, more even balance throughout the year. So this is stairs and hallway ideas. And then we're going to click on a few of the popular pins. So we know the keyword, the trends. We know that if you look at the actual pin itself, it is touching our demographic perfectly. So between 25 and 34, and 35 and 44. Also, majority female. So, okay, we know 100% that our account, the way that it's structured, the pins that we're sending out, is tailored towards this audience. And we also know that this keyword is tailored towards this audience. Now what we need to do is look at these pin designs and then figure out a way to, again, mimic, ethically copy, add your own small graphics, obviously change the word, etc. But really what we're trying to do is use templates and use inspiration from our competition to grow our accounts exponentially, bearing into account your audience and bearing into account your trends. Okay, once you have those three things mirrored and also matched up, you win pretty much on Pinterest. Okay, so let's take a look at a few of these now. Move this tab over here. So we'll open up the first few, about 4 or 5 maybe. And also, again, you just want to pay attention to designs, okay? So for different keywords on different niches, you're going to get a specific type of color and theme. So as you can tell from just on the outset for this particular page, it's quite a dark color palette, okay? There isn't many kind of in-your-face bright colors, so bear that in mind. You can see the tones of it, again, as I mentioned, is quite dark, but also even the graphics themselves in terms of the overlay images and these squares, quite dark. So bear that in mind. That usually means that two things. First off, the ones that are working for this particular keyword are usually more on the darker side. So stair and hallway ideas, people aren't pushing like really vibrant colors in their face. And that's probably because, of course, as you're a woman, you're between 25 and 34, 30-year-old woman from the USA, let's say, you're looking for ideas on how to correctly align and also match up your new stairway, or maybe you've got an old stairway and you're looking to kind of redesign it. You don't want pinks and bright colors, reds, etc., yellows. You want quite neutral colors, quite homely colors. So obviously the pins that are doing the best are going keeping that in mind. So as you can see, cream seems to be a really vibrant color. So if you're going to create pin designs, you're going to want to mimic these type of colors and schemes. Okay, super important. So let's go through a few of our competition now and take a look. Okay, as you can see, creams, neutral colors. We have pretty bold, but also not too bold in terms of colors. Boxes in the middle, and then obviously you've got a nice clear website at the bottom. Let's take a look at the next one. Again, it's quite similar. Besides the fact that this one's got multiple images and this one hasn't. Again, super simple, creams and blacks, stairways in the background. And in terms of the pin graphic, it's pretty easy to do if you think about it. And I'm going to go through 3 different websites that I use usually to source images from. Okay, this one I don't really like as much. I think I always like some type of highlighted background in the actual pin itself. I think the colors are pretty cool in terms of the green background that can draw eyes away from the creams and the blacks. I do like this particular pin image here because, again, it's a little different, a little bit quirky than the other colors, but as you can see, it's got multiple images in the background. So just from the outset, looking at these few sets of pictures, it will be very easy to create these type of designs in Canva. These aren't anything that you need a graphic designer for. And a second I'll show you Canva. It's got, I don't know, something like 20,000 different pin designs that you can use. And I think they're all included in a very low monthly package. And also there's some for free as well. So it's something you can definitely do yourself. And as you can see from these particular designs, you're not going to have to do much to create these designs. So again, I'm just looking to share with you simple trends, simple competition research, and things that you should be looking for when you're creating your pins. And this is exactly what I do. So I'll go into the trend store, I'll go into my competition, I'll open up the top 5 to 10 or so. I may even click into some of the higher performing pins like these ones, and I'll pop into the actual owner itself. So I'll go into it and I want to see, like, what does their general board look like? What does the account look like? How many categories do they have? Is there anything else that I can follow from? So for example, this particular person has 2.7 million monthly views, which is pretty awesome, and also quite a low follower count. But don't let that bother you. Followers for these type of accounts, they aren't usually that big unless it's like a really, really big brand. So yeah, generally I'll look into these, maybe check some ideas, and just get a feel of, again, my niche market. Someone that's got 2.7 million monthly views must be doing something right. So I will pop into all of these different ideas. Maybe like I'll open up 4 or 5, maybe potentially a bit more. And I'm just trying to get a feel of the market if I'm slowly creating my account from new, which pretty much I am. And importantly, I'm looking for more ideas. And like we're doing home decor. I've got some bedroom, I've got some storage ideas. Do I need to go into kitchen? Do I know, should I be checking a few more home organization? Should I be looking at living rooms? Okay. And it's pretty cool because you can usually see what's working. This is a really cool point. So you can usually figure out which one of the boards, so your pin boards, are the most successful, or in this particular case, a competition is the most successful by just seeing how many pins they have in that particular board. So for example, if we just scroll through, you can see Wall Decor has 429, Kitchen Ideas has 534. So these two, and also, let's see if there's any more. No, so those two are the biggest boards, which means they're probably bringing in the most eyeballs, which means if you haven't got those boards, and maybe potentially bathroom ideas as well at 200 plus, and garden ideas, gosh, 500 plus, and also simple scrapwood projects, perfect. So I'll open up these 4 or 5, and I would check into each one, try to get some inspiration, but I'll know that if there's 500 plus pins, and there's lots of pins going to the same URL, then we can probably use just some simple maths and figure out that those particular pins that have multiple pins are going to the same URL. Those are probably going to be doing a lot better than, for example, simple ideas, which just has 4 pins. Okay, so again, we're just going into competition, we're going into our competitors, we are just doing some research. Okay, if you do this about 4 or 5 times into a few different competitors, and you start to nail out actually kitchen ideas, for example, or bedroom decor ideas, they seem to have a lot of pins throughout all of your competition. It means that maybe we just need to go into that particular. So let's say, for example, wall decor ideas are present in every single one of your competitors, and then you're getting something like this. As you can see, really, really striking designs, really, really graphical. You can go back and put these particular keywords into your trending tool, make sure it aligns with your target audience, and then we can test multiple ideas. So as you can see, for example, this one, you can see that they've kind of done the testing for us. So for unique wall decor ideas, they've got similar graphic designs here. So we can look at these particular pins themselves. Let's open up a few of them. And we can say, okay, they've got 4 or 5 or so unique pins for this particular niche, so this particular keyword. Let's see if any of them are getting more likes than others. Okay, right now, they don't seem to be. So we're looking at kind of the reactions. Because unfortunately you can't see impressions and you can't see views. But for example, if we saw something that had lots of hearts, lots of reactions, and also lots of comments, we can just probably put 2 and 2 together and say to ourselves that this particular pin is the most successful. Let's create a pin design that looks similar, similar design, similar style, similar colors, obviously changing the keywords so we can figure out what's working and what's not working. Okay, so I hope that kind of makes sense. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail with creating pins. Again, I'll probably make a different video in terms of how to create pins themselves, but this is pretty simple, to be fair. But for me, again, the most important thing is just going through your competition. Again, look, you can see 35 stunning black accent walls. The creator has gone through lots of effort to already test loads of these designs. And then if you go through their designs and you check how many designs are going to very, very similar pins and URLs, then you're going to very easily see what's working and what's not working. And then you can follow suit. So again, super important. Make sure that you do your competition research correctly. We've gone through keywords here. We've gone through trends. We've gone through what to look for. And then you can obviously use that information and then make sure that when you're actually creating your own pages, so this is our tool trip page, that we're taking those inspirations into account. So for example, if it was vivid colors, it's bookshelves, we want to have similar types of pictures. And then we want to make sure that that particular color and that style goes throughout the entire page. And then when people come from the pin to the page, they stay on it for longer. And then your RPMs are just super high. Okay, so again, but probably went into more detail than I expected, but I hope that kind of makes sense. That you do need to spend some time looking at your competition and looking at the pins, looking at the groups, the boards themselves, and just spend time going through trends as well and keywords to look at your audience and figure out exactly what type of pins are working best for what type of post. Okay, that's pretty much it for this video. I'll super quickly go through our overall performance over the last 30 days for this particular account. As you can see, our impressions are spiking up, which is pretty cool. So I expect this to continue spiking up, and of course our outbound clicks and pin clicks and engagements is going to continue to spike as our new posts with our slightly new designs start to do well. And also we've got lots of different posts that we want to create. We're doing lots of different research. We are testing lots of different ideas. And the way I go through my competition research is pretty much exactly what I've just explained in this video. We just do that we do it over a longer period with more keywords in batch files. And I spend hours doing this, okay? So if you are interested in checking out some of my coaching packages where I specifically go into your niche, your Pinterest campaign and your account to help you with that, feel free to let me know. And also, again, if you just want me to do all of it, it's like, hey Mo, that sounds fantastic, but I'm just going to let someone else do it. Feel free to check out my agency rates too, where we pretty much do exactly what I've explained, but all for you. Lastly, I have quite an impactful Pinterest tutorial that I go through all these videos into like a systematic way where you can look over my shoulder and see what I'm doing. But for now, I will see you soon. Take care.